The Nigeria Labour Congress and affiliates were on the streets early this week protesting, among other things, hunger. And food inflation actually in the month of January drove the general numbers to a staggering 29.9%. But then Nigeria boasts of vast arable land with the adequate population to put that into proper use. And it is also worthy to look at past efforts where they have taken the nation to, and of course, the way forward in the light of recent developments. That is our focus this morning on the policy with Leah. And don't forget, the program is also streaming on YouTube at Saban Media Services. We'll begin the business of the day with a look at the trends table.
Years after its recommendations, the Federal Executive Council (FEC) has approved the full implementation of the famous Stephen Orosanye's panel report. The decision made at the Federal Executive Council meeting chaired by President Bola Tinubu seeks to merge some parastatals, agencies, and some commissions, while others will be subsumed, scrapped, or relocated. Special Advisor to the President on Policy Coordination, Hadiza Bala Usman, said it is in line with the need to reduce cost of governance and streamline efficiency across the governance value chain. The Council set up an 8-man committee with the mandate to implement the mergers, scrappings, and relocations within 12 weeks. The Monetary Policy Committee (MPC) of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), after its first meeting of the year, decided to further tighten monetary policy and subsequently raise the MPR by 4%, cash reserve ratio to 45%, and retained the liquidity ratio at 30%. The committee's decision was centered on the current inflationary and exchange rate pressures, projected inflation, and rising inflation expectations.
The major factors driving inflationary pressure remain exchange rate pass-through, rising cost of energy, high fiscal deficits, and lingering security challenges in major food-producing areas.
Governor Leah Katung also disclosed that gross external reserves stand at $34.51 billion. The Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) on Tuesday approved allocation of $20,000 to all eligible Bureau de Change BDC operators across the country as part of its ongoing reforms. Dr. Hassan Mahmood, Director, Trade and Exchange Department (CBN), in a circular said the move was aimed at tackling distortions in the retail segment of the nation's foreign exchange market. The circular addressed to BDC operators said they were allowed to sell to end users at a margin not more than 1% above the purchase rate from CBN. Senator Jibrin Issa is chairing a committee set up by the Nigerian Senate to investigate the 30 trillion naira Ways and Means loan granted by the CBN to the federal government. The committee is saddled with the responsibility to probe the utilization of the loan under President Muhammadu Buhari and has 4 weeks to conclude its investigation. It is to interrogate the details of the ways and means of disbursement usage, particularly the intervention programs such as the anchor borrowers programs, excess funding in the power sector, monies given to manufacturers, banks and airlines which increase the current debt profile of the country. A senior Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation official has been slammed with bribery and tax-related charges in the United States. A jury recently returned a 3-count indictment against Paulinus Ihanacho Okoronkwo, a dual citizen of the US and Nigeria, after the Federal Bureau of Investigation found out he used his position as a general manager in NNPC's upstream department to obtain at least $2.1 billion in bribes. The alleged bribe was to assist Adas Petroleum escape its $2.4 billion liability to Nigeria as part of an oil lifting contract that began in 2001. Okoronkwo is also charged with tax evasion and obstruction of justice for allegedly lying to investigators when interviewed in 2022.
Research institutions in the country have preferred solutions over time to particularly agricultural needs. And these solutions, have they actually been exhaustive? Have they provided those desired results? Let's find that out in this conversation with Professor Emmanuel Ikani. He is the Director General of NARLS Zaria. The Nigerian space is filled with research institutes, with a majority of them, about 18, in agriculture. And of course, the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University Zaria is hosting a number of them, one of which is the National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Services, NARLS, and the Executive Director of NARLS, Professor Emmanuel Ikani, is joining me for this conversation, and the focus on research is obvious. Good morning, and it's nice to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be with you.
Great, sir. Perhaps we start by you speaking with us about the guiding principles of NARLS. What is that demand NARLS is supposed to meet for Nigerians?
Okay, thank you. That's a very good question. Our guiding principles actually are about our mandate, our mission, and our vision. But in a single line statement, I can tell you that our work, our trust, guiding principle is to disseminate proven and useful agricultural innovation information from the creators of innovation to the users of innovation. Once it's proven, once it's good, once it's adapted, and can work on the Nigerian field, we'll push it out. And the trust of our work. The other one we do, we want to go around the research institutes to pick out, identify, profile those innovation, those research output that will be practically useful on the farm. We get them adapted. The next thing we do is to package them, is to messages that the farmers can understand. To give you a brief of exactly what to do in a layman's language, it's just like the national grid of electricity. You cannot use it to charge your phone at the national grid level. You can't. The same electricity signal, energy signal, but it has to go through transformers, step-down transformers. So from generation to transmission and to distribution. At the level of transmission, there's a step-down activity that goes on where it can become at the level that can be used at the homes and it is distributed to the users. That's what you do. At the level of research finding, at the research institution, the practical farmer on the farm cannot understand. Research finding, research language. So we work on it and package it in the form that even the grammar can understand.
From your expert view, how can we use that to improve on one, quantity, and two, the quality of the food we eat in the country?
We saw Nigerians on the road protesting about hunger and anger. And that is why the presidency move to declare an emergency on food security is in place. It means the president has recognized we have an issue with food. And hungry citizens are angry citizens. They're angry because they cannot reason fine. So the question you ask about what is our role in improving the quantity and the quality of food is relevant in the now. Now, our role is very simple. Up till now, agricultural practice in Nigeria is still crude. To change it from being crude to scientific and commercial agriculture, it must be driven by information, driven by knowledge, driven by expertise. It must be about skills. And this, the vehicle to bring about this change, the critical game changer in any move to transit from crude farming to scientific commercial farming, the game changer, the critical game changer is extension anywhere in the world. I'm actually quoting the word of the Minister of Agriculture in Egypt, because I paid the agricultural trip to Egypt 2 years ago. And he said, I asked the question, how did you transit from crude to scientific? He said, a game changer is extension. So what is our work in getting this job done is that the farmers must have the right information, scientific information, improved information, tested and improved information for them to do the right thing on the farm. So quantity is about productivity and production. For each variety that is developed to increase productivity, we go for it and put it in the hands of the farmers. I can give an example. The pod borer cowpea, the first of its type in Africa that has been produced, started from 2008, 2007, 2008, and came out approved by the federal government. We were the one that promoted it and put it in the hands of Nigerian farmers. I mean, so have a product in the hands of the farmer of cowpea, the beans you use for biomomoy, before the farmers spray with chemical about 8 to 10 times. Now have a product from the research world that can only spray 2 times, and it's fine. So we promoted it the last 2-3 years in the hands of the farmers, and they're happy with it. And so that increased productivity, it also increased production and the quality, because chemical residues have been the reason why beans products were rejected at the international world. With this decrease in spraying, the chemical residues, so the quality is enhanced and the quantity is something to go for on the field.
So what is impeding the dissemination of information you're finding, and how has that also played a role in improving the agricultural sector in the country?
We did a survey last year, October. 80% of Nigerian farmers still use cutlass and hoes. That's to show you that we are crude. The second one is that the use of seed, improved seed in Nigerian agri-space, is less than 15%. It means we are using about 18% grains, which should not be talked about in the 2024, 21st century. And
could you please, before you go on, differentiate between grains and seed?
Seed is different from grain. Grain is when you have a maize that is grain, the food end of it is the one you crush into powder for your tuwo, for whatever. But seed is specifically designed to be replanted. You don't want to plant grains. So I'm saying that Nigerians of today still use about 85% grains, and you can't have the best of it. That's why in maize, Nigerian output is between maybe 5 to 6 metric tons per hectare. Elsewhere, you can have up to 40, up to 12, up to 15, up to 20, because they plant seed, improved seed. So that's a case. So the question you ask whether we are doing the right dissemination, we are doing the right one, because in my institute, every discipline in agriculture will have an expert, minimum of masters. So we're giving them the right, but you see, the problem we have, we are going to the problem maybe later, is that the actors on the field are also unskilled. They are not literate. They are illiterate, most. And you see, if you pass the scientific information to somebody who's unskilled, you have a problem in your hands when it comes to practice. That's the truth of the matter.
So how did that really, or how is it affecting your service delivery?
So, I give an example. If a farmer who is unskilled is doing poultry, wants to do broilers, meat poultry, or even the egg poultry, and ask him or her to handle vaccine and making sure that there's no cold chain break, how will he appreciate that information? When there's a cold chain break in a vaccine, it's as good as using the same vaccine to kill the animals. So, but he can't. But if you give it to somebody who's trained, an animal scientist, a vet to handle, a graduate of animal science from many of the high institutions, he knows the implication of this matter. And this is what we're talking about. So it's affecting our messages. You give a message right to somebody who's not skilled, you cannot appreciate.
So what are the solutions you have on your shelves that Nigeria can use to improve agricultural productivity? I mean, we're still doing hoes and cutlasses in 2024.
Now, a major problem we have now is the extension structure in the country that we call the ADP. We reach out to farmers through the ADPs. That is where the extension agents are. In my city, we don't have extension agents. We work on the extension managers and extension agents who now relate directly with the farmers. As I'm talking to you now, it was a World Bank project. By the time the World Bank withdrew their funding, the federal government and the states are supposed to handle it. They are owned by the states. So most state governors and government are not interested in extension, and have an issue how to get to the farmers through this. But I can tell you the solution. 2023, May 17th, the last government, for the first time, put an extension policy, national extension policy, and approved it. Federal Executive Council. That policy, we want to make it to go into the National Assembly for an act of parliament. Today we are meeting with all the commissioners of agriculture from the whole country on this matter, so that all of us can be on the same page to, first of all, since 1960, they have a bill on agriculture that will determine the funding throughout the country, that will be inclusive, and that there will be a national technical committee that will now regulate extension activities in the country. As it is today, it's rowdy. Anybody can come in, whatever project has, nobody controls anything. So this is why we're here in Abuja today, to make sure that this policy that was approved by the last administration is get into the National Assembly for an act of parliament. And so extension will be regulated. The product that will go to the farmers will be approved, regulated, and then we can begin to have a good extension advisory services in the country. That is a big solution. The other one I want to talk about is the issue of demand-driven extension is still a problem, because research must be demand-driven before it can become demand extension to the farmers. If the farmer don't need a solution and give to them, they won't use it. So we're looking for a situation where the research will only do research that the farmers have demanded for. And then the other one is that, as it is today, the agri sector output in the research, there's no linkage between research and industries. And I can give an example. There's the place we call UNCAM, it's the National Agri-Mechanization Center in Ilorin. They have equipment that are simple labor-saving devices on their shelf. But their mandate is to do prototypes. Now, if automobile industries in the country can pick those prototypes and multiply, upgrade in production, massive production, we will not have need to go abroad and pick and import. And they are good. So I want to use this platform that whoever is the policymaker is an agency of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. We need to go and link that place to industries. And I'll give you an example. Like, maybe I should mention names. Innocence produces trucks for the military. They produce a truck for road safety, for immigration, for customs. I even was surprised. I was coming from Port Harcourt last year. The combo bus that picks passenger from a waiting room, departure room, to the plane, the combo box I enter was made by Nigerian industry, Innoso. So why can't Innoso make tractors and equipment, picking it from income in Ilorin and multiply, instead of going out to import? If we don't have the dollar to go and import. And if they are Nigerian made, they'll be suitable for our soil. Our products, whether they're equipment, whether they are varieties, whether they are breeds, should be linked to industries, industrial outfit. That's how it's done elsewhere. And we are promoting, we want to, because at every research institute, there should be a national innovation hub where you pick outstanding novel inventions to that hub, and industrialists come to pick it and multiply. A research institute, whatever what they have, as long as it's not into the industry for upgrading, they're wasting your time. Their job rests on the shelf.
Are you having these kinds of conversations with other research institutions?
Yes. We have an event we call National Reviews, where we bring all the researchers, the extension managers, farmers, outstanding farmers to my place. We do it every end of year. They come with whatever novelty they have, and then we try to exchange which one can go into the field, which one are the issues of the last one we push to the farmers. We have this conversation. Apart from that, whatever output of that meeting, we report back to the ministry, so they are aware. Now, discussing with our members, one of the things we're here was to get to the National Assembly, the politicians, how we can engage our extension services so that we do things right. Because extension, like I told you, is a game changer. And for me to maybe begin to, when you talk about agriculture, matters of agriculture are matters of life. Because I'm a food. And hunger, like somebody said yesterday, does not know tribe. It doesn't know Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. It doesn't know political parties. They're hungry. A nation is determined until we fix this matter of agriculture in the country. Whatever we are fixing remain unfixed. Until we fix agriculture in this country deliberately, intentionally, without paying lip service at all sectors. Until agriculture is fixed, whatever we are fixing is remain. All nations that are developed, first of all, must fix agriculture. And there's no paying lip service to it. And as it is today, I'm happy that the presidency has a role to play by declaring an emergency on food security. That's the way to it. It means that the issue, all of our attention should be drawn to it. And it's not on the table alone. It's about all of us. And get this job done, get it fixed. And once the citizens are fed well, it's citizens that develop the nation. And not politicians that develop, it's citizens. Well-fed, well-empowered, well-educated. It's citizens that develop the nation. It's on the seat on our leg. So, but we think it's government, it's politicians, policymakers, it's us, you and me. But we must be well-fed, well-educated, have skills. And these skills will mobilize to the development of the sector, of the nation. That is what I think is lacking. Maybe the petroleum people we found in the 60s distracted us from this base because agriculture worked before in Nigeria. The name, Giant of Africa, was given to Nigeria by agriculture, not petroleum. You can go and find out. So how did we miss it? We found oil, we're distracted, free money. So let's go back to agriculture and fix it.
Okay, I must sincerely thank you, Professor, for making time out for this conversation, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Do you know it takes on average 70-something days to actually start from packing to exporting that container?
We had 110 textile industries in Nigeria. They crashed.
Any government that does not have sufficient output in terms of exports to combat with a global currency, the dollar, is not just visible.
People keep saying that, oh, FX is interest rates is driving us crazy, but you can't have FX if you don't earn FX.
For you to liberalize, for you to make it willing buyer and willing seller, you must be able to have some buffers.
Manna doesn't fall from heaven. We can't expect external influences to do the magic for us.
My name is Aldumi Igori. Keep watching The Policy with Leah.
It aims to provide policymakers an opportunity to explain their policies in a way that members of the public affected by those policies can understand and engage with those policies.
Keep watching The Policy with Leah.
And of course, early this week, the CBN's Monetary Policy Committee raised the MPR by 400 basis points. Do you know what basis points are? Let's find it out and simplify these. And of course, from there, we go to the markets. For more on rates from markets across the country, do well to log on to our sister website, www.marketnigertv.com. Don't forget, we value your feedback, so keep them coming, your questions, comments, and suggestions. Follow us, like us, and give us all the support because we need that to grow. Wish you a very pleasant new month. God bless Nigeria and be safe out there.